Hello guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I am Thlologelo Promise Rampa and this is Relocate to Australia with Promise. So it is a DIY relocation platform, guys. So I'm not an agent, so don't please, I'm not an agent. I'm not an agent. So I'm just sharing my experiences with being having it been on two separate visa options and what I've learned from them. And most of the things I talk about is just things I've observed and conversations I've had with other people. And I'm just coming here to deliver the news. If you were thinking about coming to Australia and you felt so discouraged because the agency prices or the agent prices were so high, I'm just here to tell you guys, you can actually do this without an agent. You just need to be informed. That's all. Anything that an agent can do, you can do it yourself. Anyway, I want to wrap up the TSS conversation, okay? So the past two videos, I was talking about the advantages and the disadvantages about the TSS visa, the Subclass 482, temporary skilled shortage visa, employer sponsored. Hey, hallelujah. Yes, that visa. So I just wanted to sum up the main points and what's going on currently in Australia. Obviously, this visa is on a standstill. Obviously because of COVID, right? And I know a lot of people are all over the place like, okay, Promise is talking about this visa, but we are unable to get that at the moment because of this COVID thing. I've had an episode about COVID and how that has affected immigration. But guys, look, it's not the end of the day. Something is going to happen later. Maybe, I don't know, maybe today, tomorrow, later. We don't know. Nobody really knows when we actually going to get the solution to this thing. But at least don't just sit and wait for, I don't know what we are waiting for. Be busy with something and equip yourself with this information that by the time everything goes back to normal, hopefully it is soon, you have the information and you're going to hit the ground running because you know what you're getting yourself into. You packed with information, you know what you're getting yourself into, you know where to go, you know which companies you're going to be talking to, you know how to apply for a job, you know all those kind of things, then you are ready. So don't give up just because of COVID. I had people sending me messages and saying, yo, my heart broke because I had, I think, 3 people who sent me emails saying that they had secured jobs. And unfortunately, because of COVID, the companies have said, well, we don't know what's going on, so we just can't continue with the process. The only thing I can really ever say is don't give up. Like, if you were there, you were there. They know your name. So the minute everything goes back to normal, so whether you have a call, hey, Joe, what's up? Any changes to the situation? I'm ready. This is what I've done. And can you meet me halfway? And I'll meet you guys halfway. You know, it's just, you've done it. You've done it. And you have leaped. And don't think this is a failure. It's not a failure. It's just something that's testing you right now. So just have faith and be strong. It is going to happen, okay? Everything happens for a reason. I always believe everything happens for a reason. So sometimes there is something that needs to be communicated to you. So submit to it and you have to just listen and say, okay, fine. I'm centering myself for me to receive the information about what is being communicated to me. So do not give up, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, what you just need to know about this visa. There's no way you're going to get this visa unless you have secured a job. That's it. You cannot come here with this visa unless an employer knows your name and has given you a contract and you have signed it. There's no way. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, Promise, where are we going to get these jobs that you're talking about? Look, these jobs are not easy to find. Even when employers have these jobs posted on Seek.com or Indeed.com, those are the main ones that I know in Australia, but they're always different ones for different occupations. Sometimes the employer will not put there that they actually do consider sponsoring people because maybe they don't think that anyone from outside will apply. So it's sometimes worthy of that conversation, saying to them, this is who I am. I've said this already. This is who I am. And I'm looking for a job. Would you be able to do this? Some jobs are very adamant. No, we want only people who are citizens, permanent residents, or somebody who has working rights, right? So, okay, fine. It's okay. At least they've rejected you. Me, I'm a master of rejection. Like, I don't have a problem with rejection. I don't mind turning away from the door. It's okay. Because sometimes you knock, when they open and you say something, you got the foot in. You got a foot in because they might just be looking for somebody like you and it just so happens that you knocked on that door. So do not give up. Even with my husband, so this is what happened between me and my husband, right? We were both applying for the jobs. I obviously knew, like, there was something in me that said, there's no way you're going to get this visa, Promise, because this is what happens. There are two entities here. It's your employer and it's immigration. So what your employer has to do, they have to make sure that you meet the requirements that are put out by immigration. So immigration trusts that your job has done their due diligence and they know what they're getting themselves into, right? So they will send their paperwork and everything to them, and immigration's like tick, 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 everything is fine, it's all good. So with me, obviously, the problem was fine. I did have the skills assessment, I did have the qualifications and everything. I just did not have the 2 years work experience because South Africa, you will sit at home for years with qualifications. So I did not have the 2 years work experience, but I still continued applying for jobs because I just felt like it's fine, you can reject me, it's okay. I did manage to get one interview, but obviously, as I've mentioned to you guys, because of the 2 years, there was hell no way they were going to give me that job. So anyway, my husband, with him, he also applied for a lot of jobs. There were some that did reject him. He went through a lot of rejections. And even when he went through those rejections, it would be so painful to us. And we would be like, you know what, it's okay. I guess it's just another one. And there were some times where you are so positive about this job, you're like, no, this one we're getting in. The interview went well and all of that. And I don't know what would have happened on their end. And they would come back and say, no, we can't take you. But we still just continued. And he would also attend interviews. So usually it's Skype. It's Skype now. I think they also use Zoom and other, these video platforms where you can actually conference. Other thing that I will tell you guys, because of the time difference, you are going to have to wake up in the middle of the night to prepare for this interview. I remember times where my husband will be wearing a shirt and his pajamas for these video interviews, because, well, obviously they wouldn't be like, stand up, sit down. So yeah, that was the situation. He went through a lot of them, and then the last one that he did, that's when he got the job and we came to Australia. So imagine if we had given up and just by those one or two nyana rejections that we got rejected a lot. And there were many times where you apply for a job and they're like, no, we're not looking for people who are outside Australia. And that's still okay. Like, don't take that personal. I always say this. Do not take it as when somebody has bewitched you. No, don't take it personal. It's not yet time. And have faith and trust that, you know what, whoever you speak to is preparing you for whatever that is due to you and what you deserve. So don't stress, Nje. So yes, you are going to have to go through it is so painful. It is so painful going through the whole job seeking and going through the interviews and having to explain yourself 5 million times. But if this is something that you want and you're willing to fight for, you are gonna do it. The other thing, guys, I was looking through, when I was preparing for these episodes, I was looking through our visa. I just blocked out some of the employer's information and all of that. This was the visa that we got. It is the TSS. I don't know if you can see that, like the temporary skills shortage. I hope that when it shows on TV, it's gonna be the other way, because now it's like the other way. Anyway, yeah, so it's the temporary skills shortage visa, the subclass 4A2. This is what you want to see. Granted, this is what you want to see. I was looking at it. We got our visa on the 15th of December. That's when it was granted, 15th of December, 2018. And it was to expire on the 15th of December, 2020. And I was looking at this, I'm like, oh my God, this was next year, December. One thing that I will tell you guys, when you get onto this visa, you must have an exit strategy. Yes, we were granted 4 years. As I mentioned to you guys, you can be granted either 2 or 4 years. But if you are a Hong Kong visa holder, you can be granted up to 5. I don't know. It probably has something to do with international relation. I don't know. I just read that on the website. So you get 4 years. We got 4 years. And also with the duration, it really depends on what your employer proposes to immigration, I guess, and where your skills fall. So you know how I told you about the occupation list? So on the occupation list, you have ones that are very high in demand, and you got the medium ones and you got the low ones. So sometimes when yours is like on the, we don't really need it that much, they might just only grant 2 years. Because as I've mentioned to you guys, these skills on the occupation list, they go in and out. This year you might be on the list, the following year you might not be. So they would give 2 years, and after 2 years it's like either your employer will say, okay, fine, we still need you, or we don't, and then you have to go back home. With us, we got 4 years because obviously my husband, he's a vet, so That's very high in demand. And social workers as well, they're very high in demand. So I think social workers also get 4 years, but it really depends on where your occupation is sitting on the occupation list. So I was looking at this visa, guys, and I was like, oh my god, imagine if we do not have our permanent residency. Next year in December would be 4 years. And you think, time just goes so quick. Time goes so quick, because when we got this visa, we got it in December. In January 2019, we were already here in Australia. But time really goes very fast. Like right now, when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, we are actually in our 3rd year being in Australia. And if we had not applied for a permanent residency, we were going to have to now start looking at getting into a permanent residence visa, or extending this one. And you know, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Before you even come here, have that conversation either with yourself, if you're going to be doing this alone, with yourself, or with your partner, if you're going to be doing this with your partner, to say, look, babe, if you are in a situation where you have a partner, are we going to be in Australia forever? Is that what we want to do? Or are we going to want to come back home? And sometimes your partner will say, well, you know what? I'm not too sure if I want to be in Australia forever. Maybe your partner or you might say, I don't want to be in Australia forever. I'll miss my family. I just want to try it out and see how it goes. It's okay. As long as you have a plan in place as to what is it that you're going to do. So have discussions with either yourself or your partner and say, we're going to be on this TSS visa. So what's going to happen if we cannot get an extension for this visa? After 4 years or 2 years, they're like, no, it's fine. We're done going back home. Are we going to look for another job? Or are we going to then explore getting a permanent residency visa, right? Or, okay, fine, we're going to be testing this thing out to see if this is something that we want. So we're just going to sit on this TSS visa. And once we get there, 2-3 years, we'll decide if we are happy with Australia. And then we can apply for the permanent residency. One thing that I will tell you, permanent residency visa does not lock you into a country. Like, you can literally get it. And then if you decide that, no, this is not something I want, at least you'll still be a resident of wherever you come from. So you can just leave Australia any day and you go back home, you know? So the thing is, the reason why I push people to do permanent residencies, because of the benefits that it has, and it also gives you a longer stay. So it gives you that freedom for you to actually, you know, be comfortable. If you do want to settle, it will be easier for you to just buy a house and say, okay, fine, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to start establishing myself here. But it really depends on the conversations that you are having with either yourself, your partner, and your family, okay? So with this visa, for as much as it's all good and it gives you leeway of coming into this country, you have to have an exit strategy. You have to have a plan as to what you're going to do once this is done. So the visa, obviously, the other pages, it explains the conditions and whatever that you have signed and agreed upon with your employer, and also immigration. So it does say, the first point there, as I've mentioned in my other videos, you do have to maintain what do you call this thing, a medical aid, and it talks to you about the working conditions and the pays and the tax file numbers and all of that you will need to know about being on this visa. But as I've explained to you guys, it does not have all the information that you need to know about this visa. That's why you have to watch the 2 videos that I have made, because that way you will know what you're getting yourself into. It's something that we wish we knew, the nitty-gritties of the other stuff, but we did not really know. We had an idea that, okay, it might be like this, but we did not really know 100%. And also the other thing that you need to know of with being on this visa, you need to know, obviously, like the living expenses here, and it's something that I will be covering. The living expenses, what you're going to be expected to pay, you know, all those kind of things. It would be really great if you have good money management skills, because that's going to help you with saving money and being more comfortable when you come here. But don't be overwhelmed. Like, don't be scared. Like, it is scary. One thing, I always feel like I always do this to myself, where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this thing scared. Like, I'm always drawn to things that scare me. I don't know why I do this to myself. But something that scares me, I always feel like, I think that's where I'm supposed to go. Because if it's not going to give me that adrenaline, then it's a waste of my time. Anyway, do it scared. Do it scared, even if you like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into, and this thing might fail, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when it fails. Just go in and do it, okay? It's better when you are prepared, and you can never really, you know, with relocation, you can never really be 100% prepared. I don't think there's anyone who goes into this and be like, yeah, I've got the information, I've spoken to myself, I've prayed, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I've drank this holy water, and I did this and did that, and now I'm going in ready. No one. All of us going into this, we're like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But you just have to do it scared. It is a big thing. It's life-changing. I do not want to lie. Well, good life-changing. I'm so happy that I did it because I feel better about myself and my life situation being here. It is life-changing, and anything that is life-changing, yes, is scary. So don't be scared. Don't be overwhelmed. If somebody does come to you and say, okay, fine, we were looking for somebody with your skills and we've got this visa, just know that you can get this information somewhere. Like, even if it's online, or even if it's watching me or other people on YouTube who talk about this, be informed, and just don't be excited just because somebody's like, I've got a visa for you, come, let's go. Just inform yourself. Inform yourself, get yourself informed, get this information, and make sure that you ask questions at all points in time. And don't be afraid to negotiate things with your employer, things that will make this relocation process much more easier for you, right? And also, when you negotiate, like maybe things like your salary, make sure that at least you know what the living expenses are here, and also what is going to go into you being able to be comfortable when you come here. Because as I've mentioned to you guys, sometimes you might have to pay for private schooling, sometimes you have to pay for daycare, you know, all those kind of things. So it's some things that you can be able to then discuss with your employer, saying, this is my situation, I'm coming with kids, I'm coming with this, is there a way we can work around this? And sometimes people feel like, oh no, you know, these things are then gonna put me in a disadvantage. If that's going to be the case, maybe this was not your job. Maybe this was not what God and your ancestors is leading you to. So just be centered at all point in times and pray, guys. Pray to whatever and whoever you are praying to. Pray so that they guide you and lead you and advise you throughout this process. So ask questions, have a plan, have an exit plan. That's the one. Have an exit plan. This is main, central. Have an exit plan. When you're going to be getting into this visa, you must know what's going to happen in 2 or 4 years. What am I going to do afterwards? Okay, even if the exit plan is you going back home, have that plan. Because now you can't be spending all the money here, and then you can't even pay. You can't even pay for a flight ticket to go back to South Africa. The government is going to buy it for you, and now you're going to owe the Australian government. That's going to be a problem. Because if you can't make that money in South Africa to pay the Australian government, when you're going to be applying for other visas, they're going to be like, do you owe us money? And you're like, yes, I do. Flight tickets for when I could not pay to go back to Africa. And they're like, you are not serious. Visa declined. I'm joking. I don't know. But anyway, guys, don't be scared. Like, okay, be scared, but do it scared. Okay, do it scared. Be consistent with this process. You are gonna have days where you want to give up. You are gonna have days where you feel like, maybe this is not for me. But if this is something that you pray about and your ancestors and God have promised it to you, it is going to happen. So I am done for today. I will see you next week. I'm going to be doing my second town profiling. So I'll see you when I'll see you. Take care.